week's Torah portion, Parshas Truma, we learn about the construction of the Aron, of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle, and all the vessels that were placed in the tabernacle. And there are so many powerful lessons that can be gleaned about life from the way these vessels were constructed. Perhaps the most important vessel was the Aron, which stored the Luchot and the Torah. And it symbolized the Keser Torah, the crown of Torah, that each Jew could become great with Torah learning. And that's why there was an actual crown that surrounded the top of the Aron. What was very interesting is the way it was constructed. It was a piece of solid wood, but it was covered with gold on the outside of that wood, all around the Aron, and on the interior of that wood, it was also covered with gold. And the question is, why was it important for the interior to be covered with gold? No one saw it. And perhaps the lesson is the Torah is teaching that it's not enough to learn Torah on the outside of our homes, at shul, at events, in classes, but we have to learn it in our homes. We have to take time and set aside time every night, in the morning, some small amount of time while we're sitting at home at the dining room table or at the kitchen table to learn a few minutes of Torah. Recently, I was speaking to a parent of a student of mine, and I commented to her, "It's so incredible. Your son, he's at such a young age, but yet he understands how important it is to push himself to understand the Torah. And I watch him, and he sits there, and I see he really pushes his mind to the limits. He closes his eyes, and he has such a mental exertion to try to understand what he's learning. It's so unique." And she said to me, "You know what? I'm actually not surprised." She said, "My husband gets home after a long day of learning, after a long day at work. He works many hours, 10, 11 hours. He comes home at night after dinner and after the family's asleep. He goes to the table, to the dining room table, and he sits down and he takes time to sit and learn Torah. And my son watches him do that. And that's what he witnesses every single day. And that's why he follows an example of his father to push himself to understand Torah, even when it's difficult, to go through that mental exertion, to understand Torah at a deep level, and try to witness the beauty and the majesty and the greatness of Torah. Have a wonderful Shabbos.